For 500 years, dolphins and humans had lived together in unity, harmony, and fellowship. Together, they set out to explore the great unknown. Peace and friendship were offered to all who would welcome it. But there were forces for whom aggression was the highest calling. Creatures known only as the foe regarded the earth with envious eyes. For humans and dolphins were their hated enemy. From time beyond memory, the foe had gone undefeated. They devoured, dominated, and annihilated all in their path. But humans and dolphins brought their age of conquest to an end. Driven to the brink of defeat, the foe plotted vengeance on Earth. But the few caretaker dolphins who remained behind were not defenseless. Protected by their greatest creation, the Guardian shielded them with its immense power. Undeterred, the foe persisted, seeking a moment of weakness. And in this time of crisis lived a young dolphin named Ecco. He was destined to become the only hope for humans and dolphins. Ecco, defender of Earth's future.
The game opens with a black and yellow dolphin welcoming us. He tells us we're young and eager, but if we listen to him we might be able to learn a few things. They serve as a tutorial for how we can interact with the world itself. Ecco can actually swim backwards, and the tutorial dolphin is the only time you get to hear about this skill, which is a bit shit considering how useful it is. The levels get a lot more claustrophobic and it's very easy to get stuck within the level geometry. Learning how to swim backwards just isn't optional. But now we're on to the first optional side quest in the game, hunting fish. The two dolphins in front of us explain that we need to catch a yellowfish and bring it back to them. So Ecco finds this fish and returns it for a reward, a semi-permanent health increase. These health increases are retained up until major story events unfold and aren't really worth collecting unless you go for all of them. Let's interact with the purple crystal nearby. This type usually provides a visual clue on what we need to do next. It shows us two whales, a mother and child next to each other, so we probably need to find them. Swimming past the sandfall and turtles, we can see the pair we're searching for and begin to interact with them. The mother tells us the way to Atlantis is locked off due to the strong tides, and we won't be able to get in today. The foe break the shield around the Earth. The alternate entrance to Atlantis is sealed off from debris. The Guardian shatters. The baby whale is trapped behind fallen parts of the cliff above. These four events happen in succession to escalate story tension. With the Guardian defeated, the foe can easily invade and conquer Earth at will. Talking to the mother, she pleads for Ecco's help to find and save her child. So we've got our next objective. Find and save the baby whale. It's nearby and we can swim over to investigate. The crystals are optional and aren't required to complete any puzzle in the game. However, because of how obtuse some of the puzzles can be, I'd strongly recommend watching them all. I chose to ignore it and got myself stuck between two rocks and nearly drowned trying to save the whale. Recalling a previous skill, swimming backwards, got me out and I tried speaking with a purple crystal instead. Watching the clue provided shows us subtly that the fluorescent green rock might have something to do with this puzzle. The baby whale is forced to watch me charge Ecco into that rock, thinking it's moving because a bit of sand gets kicked up each time I try. I appreciate the attention to detail, but this misdirected me into believing if I kept going, I would solve the puzzle. Like after 3 hits, the rock would magically move out of the way. Giving up on that plan, we search the level for clues on how to push the green rock out. But before we try and rescue the whale, I want to go over the green crystals and their role in the story. They can give us a narrative summary or offer up another clue to progress. Sometimes it's actually both, and in this case it's both. The green crystal says, "Earthquake destroyed me, and our world is in danger. I am in need of your help, and will guide you to me." This is only the first test of many. Save the child whale, and the Great One will help you pass the falling water. The message reveals the Guardian is still alive and is relying on Ecco to answer the literal call to adventure. The side quest dolphins from earlier automatically come up to Ecco and offer their help when we swim near them. I'm okay with the simple plot so far, but that's also probably just my bias rearing up, and I would understand if you didn't like what's been shown so far from the story. It does serve its purpose though, and gives us an overarching goal to work towards: find the Guardian. We can take the other dolphins with us, and upon approaching the baby whale a cutscene plays, showing the dolphins automatically moving the rock out of the way, and the baby whale swims to its mother. Speaking with the mother whale again, she thanks Ecco and offers to open an alternative route out of the bay. Due to her size, she's able to break the sandfall from earlier, revealing a passageway for Ecco to slip through and begin their journey. Before I load the next level, I think it's important to give an overview on the sources I used to develop this animation and where a lot of the assets are really coming from. This game was created by Appaloosa Interactive and published by Sega. The models and animations were made by myself in Blender, but even then it'd be disingenuous to say I didn't use screenshots and recordings of in-game footage as reference to create my assets. The majority of the textures have come directly from the PS2 game itself, and I've modified them to fit in this direction I'm going for. Sega own a majority of these textures, with the rest coming from other sources that are linked below. The skyboxes all came from Polyhaven, and again have been modified for this direction. The music in the background for this entire video was not created by myself either, and it's instead a mix of samples I've assembled inside the PSX game Fluid, or Depth as it's known in Japan, which was developed by Opus and published by Sony. The overall map geometry is completely based off of the Versus Books guide for this game, but for the Dreamcast version instead, and I was able to find it thanks to Cheeky Chunk preserving the contents on speedrun.com. I found a lot of interesting development info about the game from the Caverns of Hope Twitter and Discord, a fan-run community about Ecco. Finally, the Ecco the Dolphin IP wouldn't be something I could discuss online without crediting its original author, Ed Annunziata. A detailed list for the asset sources will all be in the description inside a pastebin file. Back to the video now. A dolphin comes up to me and he says he wants to train his brother on how to fight sharks, but he's off playing somewhere else with his turtle friend. Rescuing his brother will net us a trick to use against the sharks. The purple crystal in front shows us a route we can take above the water. While the green crystal on the side updates us on the plot. Earth is now vulnerable to invasion from the foe. The answer is not always instant, but who is persistent, rewarded becomes, which I think is really the mantra of this whole game. I'm cutting a lot of it out with editing, but you actually spend a lot of time just searching around on what to do next. Your effort and attention is properly rewarded with these beautiful spaces to explore. We're now given two routes to explore. We can take the path above the water or follow the path in front. For now we'll go in front, although it's not too long before we discover the spiny fish. Eating it harms Ecco, but there's a hidden interaction with this fish we'll discover later. Later comes now, as we're presented with two threats at the same time, the shark and the jellyfish. It's not even been 1 minute and I've already lost 90% of my health from the shark and I died to poison damage from the jellyfish. The game actually respawns me onto the other path, but that's not immediately clear. 3 sharks are swarming a turtle in the center, so we try to kill them by charging into their sides. They die and the baby brother shows up. telling us to go speak with his older brother to learn a trick to fighting sharks. Before we do that, the baby brother teaches us our first song, the Song of Turtles. Singing this song at a turtle makes the turtle follow you. It's not immediately useful what the Song of Turtles is meant to be used for. For now, we'll just keep it in our back pocket. We head back to the brother to learn the Song of Sharks. Singing this at the shark will temporarily stun them. Moving through the rest of the level, we can see a dolphin trying to chase a fish, so we help him and catch it ourselves. However, the dolphin feels insulted and demands we let the fish go. In exchange, he'll teach us the Song of Fish. Singing this song at a fish makes the school of fish follow us. That's pretty much it, that's the whole power. The path splits again, and we could choose to go into this pitch black cave or go into the hub for the level. I chose the cave and got murdered by a school of piranha, so I ended up respawning and heading over to the level hub where we can interact with 2 dolphins and another green crystal. The first dolphin actually gives us a lot of clues about all the animals we'll come across in the later levels, and I'm surprised this doesn't actually get saved anywhere in our hint library or anywhere else. Turtles are friendly but shy. If you charge one, it will sink. Don't fight sharks head on, for they will bite. But if you know a shark song, you can beat them face to face. Manta rays are friendly. Stingrays hide in the sand and are dangerous to touch. The great octopus is secretive and does not like visitors. Jellyfish sting when you touch them. Some hurt only a little bit, but others are poisonous. Moray eels are vicious, watch out for them in caves. Dolphin 2 actually ends up teaching us about a lot of the fish we encounter in the levels. Most fish are good to eat, and some are better than others. There is one that is poison, nothing will eat them, not even sharks. But only the spiny fish can cure a poison jellyfish sting. There are some fish that glow like torches in the dark. Talking with the green crystal, it mostly repeats what those 2 dolphins told us, with an emphasis placed on the fish for a source of light and fish used for defense. Using the Song of Fish on a school of fish will make those fish follow Ecco. While poisoned, eating a spiny fish will cure my poison status. While you have a school of spiny fish, sharks won't attack you, no matter how close you get to them. Not even the piranhas seem to fuck with the spiny fish, so I was able to navigate back through that cave again with the spiny fish on me and go through to the other side. I think that's all the interactions you can have with the spiny fish, but I love how throughout this level the game kept giving me an application after application for the fish, and it went from being a nuisance fish to something that was pretty valuable at crossing obstacles. Coming out of the piranha cave is the featured animal of the level, the great white's lair. Now, there are 2 purple crystals here, and we watch the clues. First clue shows an item in the shark's mouth. The second shows us going through a hole in this rock, which is probably how we grab that item. There's also a third green crystal. Trap the shark and grab the object from its mouth. The shark just sort of eats us a bunch as we keep trying to get him in the hole. And after a few tries we get the item, the Power of Vigor, along with a description of what it does. Vigor helps swim against currents, split rocks, and roll boulders. Only using Vigor, your body check it 5 times for it to die. The path splits off in 2 again. Left cave actually has a water current, so we ride it till we end up at the start of the level. There's a new dolphin to talk to, and he calls us crazy for snatching the item out of the great white's mouth. Continuing along the path is the entrance to a cove, with 2 dolphins seemingly racing each other and a purple crystal. The purple crystal shows us racing on the course. Speaking with either dolphin, they'll instruct us to grab a red fish to begin racing them. The race itself isn't too bad, and it's over in about 10 seconds, but it's a nice reward for exploration. We leave the cove in style, and we're back to the start of the level. We need to return to the hub to explore the paths we haven't fully covered yet. You'll get lost a lot in Ecco, and there is a map sorta, but on the PS2 version it's this heavily post-processed horror of a map, and the Dreamcast version is a simple on-screen outline. Having a worse map in the PS2 version confuses me, considering it was released 2 years after the original one, and unfortunately makes this game more frustrating than it has to be. On the flip side of that though, it's been a good while since I played the game without staring at the minimap constantly. Back in the hub, we have 4 paths to explore. The first shows us an alternative route we could have taken underneath the map to the Great White's lair, and was the other right-hand cave we didn't explore the last time we were here. The second is a short dead end that has a Power of Vigor pickup. The third leads us to the true exit of the level, which is blocked by a current. We'll come back to this in a little bit. The fourth and final is a cave that we can freely explore with a green crystal. Beyond is one great power, you cannot reach it from here. With time you will get closer through caves of secret wonders. The coral is blocking off our path and there's no way for us to get through it right now, so we'll go back to the third path to the exit. I actually didn't see this the first time round, but there's a green crystal on path 3. To leave this reef of corals, sing songs of fish and turtle, and snatch a giant's power held deep within its jaws. Picking up the Power of Vigor, we have enough strength to swim through the current and exit the level. Our next level is called Trial Without Error.
The level's green crystal tells us the following. In this reef, there are many secrets. Use your newfound strength to drop the stone upon the sand. Within lies the gatekeeper, and the cave of secrets opens beyond. Again, that's the game's way of communicating to the player the goal of this level in a cryptic way. Interacting with the purple crystal 5 meters away from us shows us the stone that needs to be pushed. Five more meters away is a vigor pickup. Going into the hole, we're shown an octopus guarding the level's exit. Now the real goal of the level is actually shown, and it's to get past the octopus. The next side quest is back up here. A dolphin looking for their 3 children. This is completely optional, like the race course and the find the fish minigame from the start, but we'll still keep an eye out for their children.
We find one of the kids and he swims back to his mum. Further ahead, we'll find a green crystal.
Seek the one who fears sharks. When he is safe, lead him to the gatekeeper. Then you may enter the cave of secrets.
Swimming past the sharks leads us to an area with a vigor pickup and a dolphin. He says, "Thank goodness you're here. The sharks have trapped me and I am afraid to leave." There's a vigor pickup in the corner of this area. After grabbing it, we head back and just tank the damage from the sharks, killing them in the process. Checking in on the dolphin again. He says, "Thank you for saving me, Ecco. Meet me at the tall rocks in the large bay." I want to highlight a small detail here that helps sell the immersion of the world. You can see the dolphin swimming towards the tall rock. He didn't just teleport to the next location, he's actually swimming towards the bay in real time. It makes the world feel a little more lived in, and as I'm animating this dolphin going there point by point in Blender, I can't say I didn't feel the temptation to just fade to black again and show us already there. Back in the bay, the green dolphin says he didn't believe the great octopus was real, and that must mean the cave of secrets is real too. So he puts himself in danger, distracting the great octopus so you can slip by. Our next level is 4 Ways of Mystery.
If the last level was mind-numbingly simple, then the change in level design and puzzle difficulty increase is sure to stimulate you to frustration. This is probably the biggest roadblock in the new player's journey, and we're only on level 4. Let's begin by ignoring the crystals and NPCs and just go straight ahead. And now we've been stolen by some kind of giant eel. Starting this level again, we have 2 crystals, 1 dolphin, and 1 new glyph power in this opening hub section. The green crystal tells us the following. Find first the recluse and from him learn this song. And shielded by Manta, you may pass the foul one. Sounds like we need to find a manta ray somewhere. The purple crystal is nearby, but I've already suffocated because I forgot to grab air from one of the pockets in this level. Ecco is brutal. The purple crystal shows us a pink formation of crystals and a brown dolphin with a manta ray behind him. Seems like that's how we'll find him. Next to the purple crystal is a glyph of air, allowing us to double our oxygen capacity. Which would be useful, except this level wastes 10 times that in its mazes. I speak with the dolphin in here, who fills in some of the narrative for us. He says, "When the water trembled, the rocks tumbled, and the glyph spoke for the Guardian no more. I knew you would come, Ecco. Further challenge awaits you. You must find the old way into Atlantis, the way none have gone since the Guardian was raised. But bravery and strength are not enough. None may pass unless they learn the powers of the glyphs and the songs of the seas. You've taken the first steps on this journey, but be warned, between Teeth and the Shrine, there'll be none to help you." I really like how this world is being built up around us through our interaction with the world and also through what the inhabitants tell us. We feel our way in the dark towards a pink pathway, encountering an enemy that can harm Ecco if touched. We can either use our oxygen by sonaring them, forcing them to hide, or just tank the damage. Running through them and ignoring them is actually much more of an effective strategy than wasting our precious oxygen in these caves. Unfortunately, there's no way to sugarcoat it, but going through these mazes multiple times in this level sucks, and it's littered with unfair hazards, so we're just going to have to get through them. The only silver lining are the crystal formations that restore all your health and oxygen when they get sonared. Making it to the end of the pink path rewards us with a landlocked cove that we can peek our noses out of to get some air. Speaking with the brown dolphin, he tells us, "Enjoy your stay in the pool. The manta and I do not often get company. Bring me a great fish and I will teach you the ray song, a fish which is blue and golden, like the sun." There's a bit more dialogue I've left out from the brown dolphin about how we spent 19 days trying to get past the octopus and was only successful with the help of a friend. The brown dolphin can't actually speak to the crystals like Ecco can and can't gather clues on how to proceed. As a direct result of this, the dolphin has been stuck here for a while and is content with living his life with the manta ray. Now, I already know the sky/sunfish is in the hub area roaming about, but if you didn't, I wouldn't blame you. The draw distance is awful in this level. So we go back through the pink tunnel out of the gate hole into the hub, grabbing the fish and returning back to the brown dolphin.
He now shares with us the Song of Rays.
When using the manta ray, they sort of just drift forward. We can't control the pitch of the ray, only the direction it moves in, so we can't force the manta ray through the pink tunnel. We're going to explore the yellow tunnel next and see what we can find. It leads to another bay infested with sharks and no clues on how to progress. Onto the red tunnel. And it's another bay with a couple of sharks, but now with a manta ray pre-positioned at the tunnel's height and the glyph of air for us to use. We can probably move this to the hub area slowly but painfully, So we just try that, and surprisingly, once you get the manta ray through the entrance, he actually goes into autopilot and follows the exit naturally. That's not their normal behaviour, so it's clear the developers thought it was a bit frustrating moving the manta ray around, and made a path for it to follow once inside. I think what would have worked better here is a type of possession of the manta ray, where you get to control it for a limited time, instead of awkwardly pushing it forward. With nothing else to explore in this level and the initial level clue forgotten, we speak to the green crystal again. Find first the recluse, and from him learn his song. Check, we've done that. Then shielded by manta, you may pass the foul one. Okay, so we're supposed to use the manta to stop the eel from attacking us? How you interpret shielded by the manta will determine if you get past this level or not, as you're supposed to push the manta towards the giant eel and swim under it at the same time to pass through. Push the manta towards the giant eel, swim underneath it to be shielded, escape into the blue tunnel. The blue tunnel does have a couple of dead ends and one last water current puzzle, but just brute forcing your way through it with a falling rock will grant you the exit to the Caves of Mystery. That didn't stop me from nearly drowning Ecco though. The exit from the Four Ways of Mystery leads back to the coral reef, only this time we start from behind the coral wall we couldn't explore earlier, and with a new power in front of us. The power of sonar amplifies sonar to lethal proportions, capable of shattering some rocks to reveal hidden pathways. We break the coral wall using our new power and head towards the level's exit. Still an unexplored route in the octopus level. Coming back to this level, we take the only path left to explore, avoiding sharks and jellyfish. Something I've left out of this video is that Ecco needs to breathe every few minutes. In practice, this means anxiously diving out of the water every 15 seconds to prevent drowning. Ecco has a soft ragdoll system out of the water, locking in the arc of his dives mid-air but still letting you rotate him around. It also allows you to 360 him in pretty much any direction and bounce off the walls. There's even this weird bug where you can skip Ecco across the water a couple times like a pebble. If you get bored or lost, you can easily just waste 5 to 10 minutes playing around with it. Near the end of this game, Ecco actually ends up exploring the skies around the island. Unfortunately, we gotta get back to this level. We find this rock with teeth and 2 crystals beside it. We talk to the green crystal and it tells us, find the power that the stinging ones protect. With it, reach the falling water and use its power to pass the teeth of stone. Speaking with the purple crystal now, it shows us a vigor pickup and the power of sonar pickup trapped behind a waterfall current.
The real exit to this level is in the back of the mouth of this structure. So we grab the sonar pickup, break the structure, and head to one of the prettiest levels in the game, up and down. Up and Down opens in a volcanic cave with the glyph of endurance in front of us. Endurance grants us resistance to harm, and upon picking it up, doubles our total HP. Talking to the green crystal next to us, it says, "Deep in the earth, the water is restless. Cracking in the stone releases its power. Ride the strong current swiftly, but with caution and speed. Your powers will yield you success." We'll go around grabbing each of the power-ups in the cave pockets: air, sonar, and endurance. When you beat the game and come back to this level, another path opens up, leading to a whole other secret level in 2.5D. But because this video is just the first playthrough, we'll stick to the main route. Sonaring the rock raises the water, letting us ride the current and escape the volcano. Reaching the top gets you to the top of the island's volcano, where a purple crystal shows you a vision of a new glyph. We jump down a waterfall spouting out the top of the volcano and land in a pool. Remembering that we have the Song of Rays, meaning stingrays too, we use it on the larger stingray in the pool and get him to scurry. Except it doesn't really work on him for some reason. According to the Song of Rays description, stingrays will tremble, betraying their places. And I think I'm Australian, so I probably have a decent idea of what a murderer looks like. Moving on, we can see the green crystal, and it tells us the oddly specific solution. Scare a giant with a giant and quickly seize the hidden prize. For while you see you cannot pass. So we actually have a proper use case for the Song of Turtle and lead the turtle in front of the stingray, earning us the glyph of stealth. Glyphs of stealth make you undetectable to other creatures. I don't fully understand why this works, but there's an indestructible mirror in a cave nearby, and to get through it we need the power of stealth to slip through to the next level. So we grab the pickup nearby and do just that. Roaring Forces is the lead up to our finale, one last enclosed passage before reaching Atlantis. It's an oppressive space littered with harmful creatures, and progression is stopped until you get close enough to the danger. The sharks do attack Ecco on sight, but we can use our power of stealth to sneak around them, grabbing the power of endurance along the way. Sonaring the green crystal, it tells us, "Path is guarded by terror, and no one will pass safely. Its eyes are of lightning, so you must stay concealed." The danger is overhyped a bit, but I remember dying to it a bunch of times as a kid and being scared because the game never shows you the full model of it. The next purple crystal is a little different. It shows Ecco touching a ball of light, and he turns into the nearby fish he made contact with.
This is the final power, the power of metamorphosis. It allows Ecco to transform into other creatures, including the aliens, the foe. Now we're onto It. It is a giant electric eel that shocks Ecco in a short chase scene before knocking the rocks around itself too much. The green crystal says, "The monster is behind you, but its curse lies in front. 2 pairs of the 6 holes will drain your power. Time runs against you, but observance is key. Put your trust in your best friends, let them guide you to me." This is a simple false switch puzzle on a mural, with the solution being to press the switches the dolphins are pointing at. Doing that opens a pathway above us. The green crystal says, "Ancient and impressionable, inscrutable and unknowable. With one touch, you become one with the next one you touch." The solution is to grab the ball of light, touch the fish in the room with you to transform into them, and swim through a nearby grate. You've now made it to Atlantis, the final level in this video. Atlantis starts with Ecco transforming back into a dolphin. This is a lot more of a safe exploratory level than anything super rough. Just to the left is our first purple crystal. It shows jewels falling from the sky. The first falls down a hole, the next behind a rock, the third in a passageway, the fourth in some seaweed. These are important, but we're just not sure why yet. Moving closer to the center of the level, we see these structures with complex patterns full of color. They're all surrounding the now dull and purple guardian, the being that speaks to Ecco through the green and purple crystals. Speaking with the dolphin circling it, he says, "We must do something, Ecco. There must be some power we can use to restore the guardian." We speak to the guardian in its true form. "The glyphs that spoke to you on your quest are projections of myself, a means of guiding you on your quest. Ecco, you were the first to collect the 5 abilities since Atlantis was built. Well done, but time is short. The foe of Dolphin and mankind is near. The danger is great. My powers are weak. Bring the 5 power jewels. With their energies, I will restore myself, the gate, and defend Earth from the foe." Going up for some air, we can get a better grasp on where we are. A really nice environmental detail is that we can see the volcano we were on top of earlier. We're actually a lot closer to the first level's ocean than you might realize. All around the skybox we can see these little yellow orbs of people and dolphins fleeing the planet too. It's a really strong detail in the narrative that I'm surprised just there isn't more of in this game. The grand building behind the Guardian is the only one we can access, so we'll quickly check it out. The inside is fully explorable too, with lots of little details to look through. We're going to exit through the roof pool and start searching for the jewels. There's a field of jellies in the corner, but the game isn't trying to make them threatening here, and even puts the spiny fish next to them in case you get stung. In the very back is our first jewel. Ecco carries it in his mouth, and we're just going to give it back to the Guardian. The camera switches to show a ring now over one of the buildings, then switches back to Ecco. The Guardian says, "With this first jewel, I can sense the other. They are near. Bring them to me."
We'll jump through the ring, causing it to teleport somewhere else, and unlock the building. Just before we head inside, there's another dolphin swimming around. It tells us, without the power of the Guardian, the jumping rings do not work and even the exhibit halls are closed. So it seems like most of these buildings are exhibits. Let's head inside our first one and see what's inside. Sonaring the exhibit activates it. This one just shows a bird and a glass cage inside. All exhibits are quite small, but I'm not sure on the meaning or significance of any of them. They're all pretty bizarre. We'll leave the exhibit and keep searching for the jewels. There are a few more dolphins around some kelp behind the building, so we'll check it out. Unfortunately, there aren't any jewels here. Speaking with the nearby dolphins, they just give us some flavor text. They're all worried about the Guardian and the foe's invasion. When I was first playing Ecco, I used to get frustrated at the dolphins that didn't give me any clues and just said some junk. But now I can appreciate that there's just some dolphins hanging about that don't offer something immediately helpful to me, but they're just there to help sell the immersion of the world. We'll start making our way over to the next jewel, but a really good example of both happening is the dolphin hanging out with the manta rays back in the 4 Ways of Mystery level. He'll teach us the Song of Rays, but also we can't just use his manta ray to get out of the level. It'd be pretty cruel to take his specific manta ray away from him. Back to the present though, we'll head down the chasm, passing another weird set of structures. These are the jump rings, or will be the jump rings after we progress far enough in the level. We recognise the little hole in the ground with the bubbles flowing up at the very bottom of the chasm. There's too much force for Ecco to swim through it, but there are actually 2 solutions to get it. We can either push the rock down, sealing the bubbles, or use the vigor pickup on the other side. I chose to push the rock down and grab the jewel inside. We head back up for some air and spot a beach. We'll come back there after returning the jewel to the Guardian. On our way back, see if you spot anything different inside the building through its windows. We're starting to power up the jump rings mechanism. A new ring appears over another building. The Guardian says, "With 2 jewels my senses are dim. You must find the remaining 3 and bring them here to me." We jump through the ring and check out the next exhibit. I like how each exhibit has a different opening door mechanism. It's a small detail but fleshes out each one's identity. This is the bat exhibit. I think it's surrounded by a mountain outcrop. Again, I'm not really sure on why the city of Atlantis has an exhibit dedicated to a bat, but it's kind of cool that it's there. Let's go back to that beach we found earlier. Coming up to it, we can see the slanted terrain and it looks like there's nothing there. This is actually the jewel that gave me the most trouble just because of how hidden it actually is. The beach is connected to a rock pool, but the cliff face makes it look like nothing else is there. We jump into the rock pool and grab the jewel. On our way back, we can see a crumbled passageway. We'll go there next after returning the crystal. I like the spectacle of all the dory fish we pass and generally the increased fish density in this level. It's probably accidental, but it makes Atlantis feel safer knowing there's plenty of food in this area. After returning the crystal, another new ring appears above an exhibit. The Guardian urges us. With 3 jewels my vision returns. The foe of Dolphin and mankind is nearer than ever. If the foe perceives my weakness before you bring me the remaining jewels, all may be lost. We'll open up the exhibit by jumping through the ring again, but the tone of the story and what's actually happening in this level don't really match up. We're told to hurry, but also the developers put all these unique structures around for us to explore, when really I just want to take my time being a tourist in Atlantis. This was my favourite exhibit to demake in Blender. It's so surreal seeing a dolphin next to butterflies, even if it is mostly just for show. The only common trait between the 3 exhibits so far are just that they have animals that can fly. It might not serve a purpose, but at least it makes for a cool visual. Let's head back to the passageway. Speaking to the dolphin in front of us, they say, "Ecco, I didn't see you come in before the gate collapsed." I didn't really understand the gate that they were talking about, but then I remembered at the very start of the game, after the baby whale gets trapped and all the boulders start falling, a large doorway gets covered in boulders, and I think this is the other side of that. This passageway is also blocked off by boulders, so we'll need to find a sonar pickup nearby to clear a path. Luckily, it's pretty close. This level feels like a victory lap for the player after accomplishing so much. You've already mastered these waters, so here's a couple of easy puzzles and some narrative progression as your reward. We'll shoot the passageway open, take the 4th jewel of power, and return to the Guardian for one last time. It might not look like we're making much progress with the jump rings still nowhere to be seen, but they'll appear after we trigger a few events inside of the main building. The Guardian speaks. With these 4 jewels, I have almost the power to restore myself, but it will take a 5th to finish the task. A ring shows up above another exhibit. We jump through it and enter it. I think this one is cut content, or if not, it's just poorly executed. There's nothing in the exhibit, just the sound of lightning and chilled glass. I took a look at the cancelled sequel, Ecco, Sentinels of the Universe, to see if that exhibit was updated, but instead it just looks like all the exhibits were sealed off. With nowhere left to explore, we're going to head back to the main building, where the 5th jewel sits atop. 4 orbs have appeared inside, corresponding to the 4 exhibits we viewed on the outside. The first shows us a bat-like foe hanging by its feet. The next, a snake-like foe with protrusions out its neck. The third, a manta ray-like foe with webbed feet and bird's beak. The final, a shark-like foe with a split tail. These aren't all the foe in the game, but instead just a preview of what Ecco will be going up against later in the game. These are just holograms and not the true appearance of the foe, but you can see their bodies are similarly shaped to kind of ocean-like creatures. Minus the bat, of course. I feel like these holograms are connected to the exhibits in some way, but it mostly just starts and ends with, hey, there's a bat exhibit, and hey, there's a bat foe. We'll head outside to collect the final jewel. After learning about the foe, the jump rings turned back on. We'll go through them to boost Ecco's speed and snatch the jewel from the roof. But is it too late? As you could probably tell, there's more Ecco the Dolphin Defender of the Future game left to be covered. This video only covers 7 out of the 27 levels in the game total, and I've been working on this video since February 2023. It's taken a long time to produce and come out, and while I'd love to keep working on it, I'm sort of done here at this point. I love this game, I love the setting, and it's freaked me out for ages, and the game does get a lot more mystical the further you go in. I might return to keep making Ecco Defender of the Future videos, but I mostly wanted to test myself and see how much I could make before giving YouTube a try. 2 final things I want to show you that I learned while working on this video. The first is from the Versus book guide that I used to build the level geometry from. Atlantis Lost, the level shape is actually in the shape of a dolphin. How cool is that? The second is this tweet from Krista Lee.